Hey everybody, I'm back again with another video. This time I'm doing Amazon buys. They're going to be 4 stars or above or $20 or below. Let's go with another video. Okay, so let's start off with the Jabor HDMI 2.0 switcher. Now, the reason why I really like this one is it's bidirectional, and it goes 1 to 2 or 2 to 1, which basically means that you can do 2 monitors to 1 device or 1 device to 2 monitors. So that kind of seems pretty cool. Now, you can't put both monitors on at the same time when you're doing the 1 device to 2 monitors, but that's with any switcher. It's also 4K at 30 frames per second or 1080p at 60 frames per second. Now, it's a really small unit. It's all metal. It has 1 port in the front. It has nothing on the sides. It has 1 button on the top with 2 LEDs, which tell you which HDMI port you're actually connected to. And then lastly, it's got 2 ports on the bottom for the 2 different devices that you're hooking to. So I found this one to be really nice. It's pretty sturdily made. All the connectors are gold plated, which is a plus, and it allows you to switch between the 2 devices. In my setup, I have a 1080p monitor and a 1080p TV that I have switching from my laptop. The only issue I found was that sometimes when you switched the resolution, if it wasn't set to 1080p or if it didn't recognize the other device, it might not work, but you just have to turn off the device and turn it back on. Next up is the Fosmon, and that is a 3 to 1 HDMI switcher that I looked up on Amazon, and it had over 4 stars. Once again, the build quality is pretty good, and it is a nice low profile, so when you have it on the desk, you really don't notice it. It does have little mounting anchors on the back that you can hang it on the wall also, and put it behind your TV if you want to be a little bit more discreet. I just have it on my desktop, and it works and looks fine there. It has 3 LEDs on the top which tell you which port is activated, and then you just hit the button to switch between the different ports. So next up is the Musou WII to HDMI, and it claims that it's full HD 1080p. That's a little bit misleading, but it does work really well. Now, it's got a nice little finish on it. It's got another gold plated, and it also has a 3.5mm jack on it, so you can put headphones to it, which I felt was kind of cool. And then of course it just fits perfectly right in your Wii with that little Wii port connector. And even though it doesn't really truly upscale, the reason why I really wanted to utilize this is to plug it in my switcher and allow my switcher to work with the Wii. Now, next up we have the AMANKA digital optical coax to analog RCA with the 3.5mm audio jack converter. Now, all that big mouthful basically means that I can take my optical cable and plug it into the optical out of my TV, and then hook up the RCA jack jumper to the back of my receiver and make it functional. So any receiver that does not have any fiber optic or HDMI inputs can still work with this unit. And they give you a little manual on how to hook it up, but it's really simple. Now, it doesn't come with a power supply or a cable for it, but any phone power supply will work on the unit. I just plugged that into the outlet, plugged it into the unit, and it worked fine. Alright, so let's test out the devices and see how well they work. So what I have to do is I have to change it to monitor. Let's change that. Okay. Now that I've changed it to monitor, if I hit this switch like that, it automatically switches to the button, and it has popped up on my screen. And now I can do everything that I can do on my PC, I can do on my television screen. So if I want to watch YouTube videos or just play TV, I can do that. And since it's going through HDMI, the sound is going there too. So when I'm going into the playback devices, as you can see, it says Panasonic TV right on the screen there. So things will play back that are playing on my TV. So if I were to hit my Kodi, like so,
I'm on and ready to go.
Yeah, working good. So that has my Kodi, and I'm utilizing the switcher and I'm also utilizing the optical out from my TV to go to the receiver. So they're working in conjunction together perfectly. And so I would consider those a great buy. On the top of that, like I said, the HDMI out from the Wii works great. So I'll show you that right now. Let's go to here and hit my input and move it to the game. And once I turn on the game, there. And now you can see that my Wii is booting up. Let's see it. There we go. And as you can see now, my Wii is coming out through my speakers. And then if I go over here and I turn on my PS3, as you can see, as soon as I turned on my PS3, it switched ports to the secondary port, and it can have up to three ports. So I can do one more game system if I want, or a Blu-ray player, or anything, satellite, whatever, in that other port. Okay, so as you can see, my PS3 is out and about and working. So from that switcher, I'm able to utilize both game systems going through here, coming out with my optical out, and then going down into my receiver. So I will leave links for all of these products in case you want to do that kind of setup. You don't want to change your receiver out, or you don't want to have a bunch of cables running from your game systems up to your TV. Maybe you only want to have one cable but 3 devices. These definitely work good, look great. And then if you want to be able to use your television and your monitor and also a secondary monitor, but you only have one out, then this other device here works great too. And I will go on the web page, show you all the part numbers, and show you how to get them from Amazon. Alright, so as you can see here, I have a screenshot of my Amazon page where I purchased this, and I went to the link, and it's not very expensive at all. It's under $20, and you get a 3-port HDMI switch. Some of the reasons I selected it was because it had that optional power support. So if for some reason I had to go on a longer run and utilize it, that was kind of cool. It really easy to set up. I mean, it auto selects whichever device gets switched on, and you know, obviously it doesn't come with a power supply or the micro USB, but you can hook it in and allow you to do longer runs. So I thought that was kind of cool, especially since it was like $17.99 or whatever, and free shipping if you're an Amazon Prime member. Just keep in mind that if you're doing 4K at 60 frames per second, this will not work for you. So if you really want to do hardcore gaming, then you probably want to have a better switch that's going to be a little bit more expensive. But if you're 1080p, this should work fine. Next up is the bidirectional switch, and I utilize this so I can have two monitors on my laptop, and that was mostly so that I could play things like Kodi or play like live TV from my laptop over to my television and watch it on a bigger screen. So I have a pretty big 34-inch ultra wide, and movies look pretty good on it, but it looks better on my big screen. So I purchased this, and it works just as advertised. I did like the fact that it went from 2 to 1 or 1 to 2, so you could hook two monitors up to it, or you could hook two devices up to it and use one monitor. Definitely a selling point. Also, it only did 30 frames per second for 4K TV. Once again, I don't have a 4K TV, so this really does do what I need it to do. And for $16.99, it's definitely good enough for me. And it even had the gold-plated connectors and all that, and the HDCP pass-through support. So it has everything you're going to need in order to utilize multiple devices. And then I got this digital optical coax to go to RCA because I had an old receiver, but it still worked good, and I wanted to hook it up to my TV, and my TV had a fiber optic out. So this unit that I found on Amazon even came with the cable. So I was like, okay, that's awesome. It comes with a cable. It will allow me to come out of my television and go right to my receiver. I don't have to get a brand new receiver. I spend just a little bit of money. So it came with everything. So I think it was pretty awesome. It was a great buy, and it works good. I really rely on those stars from Amazon. So if they have 4 stars or higher, I usually try them out. And this was definitely a good buy. It sounds perfect. It works perfect with my receiver. And for under 20 bucks, I definitely think it's a good deal. It even has a port, a 3.5 millimeter port for putting in headphones if you wanted to listen to headphones on the unit instead of plugging it into your receiver, but coming out of your television. So not everybody's going to use that, but that was a nice little option too. And then lastly, I got this from Amazon to hook to my Wii, and it doesn't really upscale. I know it says it upscales, but the actual picture doesn't look that much better. But the reason I got it was to use my switcher and hook this device through my HDMI switcher, and I wouldn't have to run extra cables up, the component cables up and the sound cables up. I could just use the one HDMI from my switcher and just plug this right into it, and it works absolutely perfect. Subscribe if you want to catch more tutorial videos and much more. Anyway, that's my video. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna get the tech out of here.